Hi, I'm Ros Conkie. I don't know about you, but I hate waste. I hate wasting our food, our planet's resources. I hate wasting time and I hate wasting money. And the biggest waste I see in small businesses I work with is in their marketing. And today I'm going to talk to you about how you can stop doing wasteful scattergun marketing. So what do I mean by scattergun marketing? Well, a marketer friend of mine calls it spray and pray. Promote your business everywhere you can think of and cross your fingers and hope that it might work. And it might work. I mean, it might work if your product is something that almost everyone in the world will use at some point in their lives, like Google or car insurance or supermarkets or consumer goods, you know, those sorts of things. What do these companies that I've mentioned have in common? They're all huge. And how big do you think their marketing budgets are? Can they afford to spray and pray? Probably. They don't need their marketing to be efficient because scattergun marketing is hugely wasteful. So today I'm going to show you an alternative. I'm going to show you how to do efficient, effective marketing on a small budget. Now, I didn't start my career as a marketer. I actually did my degree in mechanical engineering, and my first graduate job was as a design engineer at a small robotics company. And not long after starting working there, the managing director said, "Do you know, Ros, I think you'd be good in marketing and sales." Now, I thought to myself, oh no, I don't want to do that fluff. I've got an engineering degree. Marketing's all creative nonsense. There's no logic to it. It's just trying to come up with silly ways to manipulate people into buying stuff they don't need. I have no interest in that. I'm an engineer. I do things logically. I solve problems in logical, well thought through ways. I'm definitely not interested in persuading people to buy stuff that they don't need. But I didn't say that all to my new boss, of course. So I thought, okay, well, I'll just do it for a few months and then I'll just find a way to work my way back into doing this proper work, like this proper engineering design work. So I started learning about marketing and trying to work out how we could promote our very niche, very expensive bespoke robots. And I very quickly realized that all the kind of things that I thought of as marketing, like advertising on websites and leaflets and stuff, that wasn't going to work for us. No one was going to see an advert and then immediately buy £1 million robot. That was never going to work. Because our business was completely different to those businesses I was looking at. In fact, our business was completely unique. We were the only people in the world doing what we were doing. So we couldn't just copy what worked for other businesses because that was never going to work in our context. So we had to find another way to market our stuff. So I spent a lot of time learning about marketing and trying to work out why some things worked for some businesses and not for other businesses. And I started to realize that actually good marketing is not at all creative nonsense. It's actually very structured and methodical. It's based on objective analysis and research. It's carefully planned and designed and project managed. It's tested and measured. It's efficient and effective. And all of a sudden, this starts to sound a lot like engineering. So years later, when I started working as a consultant, I ended up using a methodology that was based on what I had learned in my degree 20 years ago. And it's actually the same basic process that every engineer uses when they design a new product. You start with a specification, identify ways to meet that specification, prioritize the features that are most important, model it and prototype the machine, measure all the different components so you know which bits are working and which bits aren't, and then keep testing and incrementally improve. And all this worked really well. And I was creating marketing machines that churned out lots of long-term loyal customers for my clients. But something was wrong. So how consultancy works is you tell me all about your business and I'll tell you what you should do to fix it. So in marketing consultancy, this usually is usually a marketing plan. So, you know, do this, or you can pay me to do it for you and I'll tell you how to fix it. And the reason I had a problem with it was because I realized that it actually puts the business owner in a very vulnerable position. So it relies on the consultant asking all the right questions to get all the information they need. It relies on the consultant understanding the full context of the business and the business owner's goals and vision. And it relies on the consultant's skills to put all of that together and give good advice. And if any of those three things don't happen, then the business owner will end up getting bad advice. And this can be really costly, not just in terms of wasted money, but also wasted time. And I mean, it can even damage a company's reputation and lose customers. And I've worked with business owners who have had their fingers burnt by paying for bad marketing advice. They didn't know it was bad advice at the time. Sometimes it was only years later when they learned how damaging it had been. And worse than that, if the agency controls the strategy, then the business owner's tied into them, because they can't use anyone else to execute their marketing because they don't understand the strategy that the agency has set. And now, I want to be clear, it's absolutely fine to outsource your marketing execution, the doing of it, the implementation, if you don't have time to do it yourself. That's absolutely fine. Getting someone else to decide on your strategy, why you're choosing those marketing activities, is dangerous. It puts you in a very vulnerable position as a business owner. It's like asking your accountant to make all of your financial decisions for you. I mean, you could do it, but no accountant I know of would ever say that that's a good idea. And I always ask them whenever I meet one, any accountants or bookkeepers watching this, I wonder. And that's what business owners do every day when they ask an agency or a consultant to sort out all of their marketing. Like I said, it's fine to outsource the execution once you know what you need to do, but please don't ever let anyone else control your strategy. Because as soon as you let someone else decide and control your strategy, then you're putting yourself, your business, in a very vulnerable position. So today, I'm going to teach you how to take control of your marketing and create a marketing strategy that will attract amazing customers, because I'm on a mission to rid the world of fluff marketing. And by that, I mean marketing that's chosen without any logic to it, without any real strategy behind it, and no way of knowing whether it's actually going to work. This scattergun, inefficient marketing that's incredibly wasteful and damaging to small businesses. So my definition of marketing is simply making it really easy for people to buy from you. Anything that achieves that goal is marketing. So when you think about it, marketing is all about efficiency. It's all about reducing the friction between you and your customers so that sales flow easily and profitably. I talk about marketing as being like a machine that's churning out long-term loyal customers. Your marketing activities are all of the different components of your marketing machine. They all need to be working efficiently to make it as easy as possible for your customers to buy from you. So if we're going to design a marketing machine, first, we need a specification. We want to build a marketing machine that will churn out lots of amazing customers. So our specification needs to start with exactly who is this marketing machine going to churn out? What does an amazing customer look like? So that's where we're going to start. So the first question I ask all of my clients is, who is your ideal customer? And it sounds like it should be quite an easy question to answer, doesn't it? But when I ask this question, the most common answer I hear is anyone. Sometimes it's all women, or women aged 25 to 60, or all small business owners. Well, there's only like 6 million SMEs in the UK, so is that specific enough, perhaps? Well, let's explore this. So your business needs customers who are going to need your product. You want customers who have the budget to spend on your product. You need customers who are going to be profitable for you. You need customers who are enjoyable and energizing to work with. And you want customers who are going to get the full benefit of everything your product or your service has to offer. Because if they don't get value for money, then they're not going to buy more than once. They won't give you a testimonial. They're not going to refer you to their friends or associates or colleagues. And they're probably not going to be that enjoyable to work with, really. I mean, but on the other hand, people who tick all of these boxes are much more likely to buy from you. So if you tighten your focus specifically to one avatar, one persona, then the following things happen. So first of all, it'll help you clearly understand the problems that they face, that you solve. It'll help you decide what you need to say about your product and how to say it. And it'll make it easier to decide what to include in your product or your service and what to leave out, because you'll know what's going to be valuable to them. And when you start planning your promotional activities, you'll know where to spend your money and where not to bother, because you'll know where they are. So however specific you think you're being when defining your ideal customer, you probably need to be more specific. So there's a quote I love, which is, time on the recce is never wasted. So the time you spend working on this strategic stuff will pay dividends to your business. So today I'm going to walk you through my checklist of how to create an ideal customer persona for your business. You can download a PDF copy of the checklist below this video. I'll put that below this video if that's helpful for you. I'm going to go quite quickly. With my clients, we usually spend a couple of hours doing this. So grab a pen and paper to make notes if you need to. Pause the video while you write stuff down if you need to do that. And let's get going. So the first thing I want you to do is close your eyes and picture your perfect customer, your dream customer, the person who's just perfectly matched to benefit most from your products and services. Maybe you're already working with a dream client, someone you just love to clone. So picture them. And maybe if you haven't got a dream customer in mind, then try to imagine the person that, if they walked into the room at some event, you just climb over everyone else to speak to them because they're so perfect for your business. Some people work with a few different types of business, several different types of people, different markets. If that's the case for you, just pick one for this exercise. And once you've been through this process once for one market, you can go back and do it again for other markets. But it's really confusing if you try and do it for more than one at a time. So just pick one for now and go through this whole process for one market, one ideal customer. And remember, this is someone who's never bought from you before. So if you're thinking of a dream customer who already knows you, imagine a clone of them who doesn't know anything about you. Okay, you got that person in mind? Okay, then let's start. So first of all, I want to get you thinking about their attitudes and what's important to them. So what's their attitude to your industry or your niche, your particular area of expertise, what you do? What's their attitude to your product or service? What do they think about when they hear whatever it is that you do? What's their attitude to the alternatives to your product or service? What do they love about what you do, about your industry? Is there anything that they dislike about your industry, or anything they resent, anything that they just don't like about your industry? What's important to them in the context of what you do? What do they really value? Press pause here if you need to and write down all the things that come to mind. So the next thing I want you to think about is their challenges and pain points. So what exactly is the problem that you solve for your customers? And why is it important that this is solved? So how do they feel about this problem? What specifically is the challenge that they're struggling with? Do they feel frustrated about it? Do they feel stressed about it? Do they feel anxious or worried? Does it fill them with dread? What is this problem that you solve? What's before they work with you? What's their context? And then how do they feel about that? How does it affect them? Does it affect their work life? Does it affect their home life? Does it keep them awake at night? Who else in their, how does it affect their life? I want the doom and gloom of life before they've met you. Write it all down on a piece of paper and press pause if you need to. So this person doesn't know anything about you, so they might have a lot of questions about your industry, maybe your product, your service. So what questions do they have? Is there something they don't really understand about what you do? What will they ask you? Think about what your customers typically ask you. Write down all the questions that people often ask you. What concerns do they have about your product or your service, about your industry perhaps? What's the impact of making a bad buying decision with respect to what you offer? Remember, they don't know you. They've never bought from you before, so they don't know that you're great. And when they look at your business from the outside, what are they going to be concerned about? What are they going to think? Wow, what could go wrong? If they buy from you and you turn out to be rubbish, what's the worst that could happen? They don't know. They've never bought from you before. So what's the worst that could happen? What would be the impact of a bad buying decision? Who else would it impact on? Maybe it would impact on their family or their boss or their friends or their colleagues. What would be the impact? Because that's going to slow them down in their buying decision. What reasons might they give for deciding not to purchase? What questions might they have, but not say out loud? Those unspoken concerns are always really great sources of content ideas. Write it all down. Next, I want you to think about what's your buyer's role in the decision-making process? Is there anyone else involved? So your buyer, are they the budget holder? Maybe they're actually the recommender, or maybe they're just the person that sort of says yes or no, the gatekeeper. Who else are they going to talk to? Who else is involved? Will they talk to somebody else about their buying decision? Maybe they'll talk to their partner or their business partner or their boss or their, other people in their business, or, their friends. Who might they talk to about this decision? Will they talk to anyone? Is there anyone who could veto the decision? Who are their main influencers? Is there someone who might influence their decision? Someone who might recommend you in? Someone who they might say, oh, do you know a good, I need this. Do you know anyone good? Who would that person be that they would go to? Write it all down. Again, press pause here if you need to. And lastly, add any relevant demographic or personal information about your buyer. There's tons of stuff that people put in here, but it's not always relevant. So if you find yourself struggling with demographic stuff, leave it blank. It's really important that you only include what's actually relevant. So things like age and gender, location, what they do for a job, income, level of education, family situation, newspapers, books, magazines, websites they read, blogs they read, podcasts they listen to, social media they use, all that kind of stuff, but only include what's relevant. So like for my business, it really doesn't matter how old they are, man or woman, whereabouts they are, but it does matter that they're a business owner. So I only work with business owners and marketers. So only include what's relevant. If you think about like what newspapers to read, or if that's not relevant, just leave it out. It doesn't matter. Only include what's relevant. A lot of people get kind of hung up on demographic stuff in their ideal customer persona. If it's not relevant, it's actually a red herring, and it's better to keep it out. So you've got your ideal customer persona now. How do you use it to stop scattergun marketing? So the attitudes and values that you wrote down, those need to be your marketing messages that show that you get your customers and that you'll fit well together. The challenges and pain points, those can go into your headlines and show that you empathize with your customers and to explain your value. The questions and concerns, those need to be overcome by your marketing and sales process, because otherwise people aren't going to buy. If you create content that overcomes these objections, then that'll speed up your sales calls, because people won't be asking those questions to your sales team or to whoever does sales in your business. So it'll make your sales process much more efficient. Your influencers, those will be who are going to be your best referrers. And do you need to create any content to help your buyer sell internally to anyone else who might veto the decision? And then your demographics, that's where to promote your services, how to find them, how to access them. So I hope that was useful. If you want any help with this, and if you're ready to take the next step and build a strategy and plan that'll attract loads of these amazing customers to your business, do book a call with me. There's a button below this video. Or if you're not ready for that yet, then check out some of my other free tools and resources that are all under this video.